Hello friends, welcome to another Wednesday Quickie with Professor DIY and Elpida. So today we are going to uh, compare and contrast two Macs. We are Mac people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And on the main computer we use to process our film and everything, our videos and everything, is this 2021 M1 Mac Mini.
Mm-hmm.
And recently Elpida acquired this 2022 Mac Studio. Is it the Max? M1 Max, right?
Right.
And first of all, let's look at them. I mean, you can see that this looks like the little brother.
Indeed, it does.
The color is slightly different, but
Yeah.
and
But
But
the profile is the same.
it's just maybe like three of these, right?
Yeah.
What do you think
Yeah.
about that?
Yeah,
that
about
ratio?
3. Yeah.
About that ratio? Very similar machines, right? I've always liked the form of the Mini because you can put it behind the monitor and it almost looks like a all-in-one.
Right.
But even there, I think this is a little too big.
Yeah, but even there, it's got a small footprint and it doesn't take up much space on the desk.
I think they're both attractive machines, right?
Yeah, they are.
And we're going to benchmark them using Cinebench and tell you clearly the performance of the Studio will be superior. We do not have any qualms about this, qualms.
Qualms.
But how much different is it? Because the price is quite different as well, right? This is a $700 machine, and this is a $2,000 machine.
Roughly.
So, if you spend that much money extra, you would expect some noticeable
Better
difference.
performance, you would
Well, not
expect.
just better though. I think it should be
Yeah.
noticeable, right?
Yeah.
This thing has 10 cores, and I think this only has 4.
Okay.
I don't remember, but we're going to tell you as we compare them. But in general, what are your thoughts, Elpida? Right off the bat, one of the things I like is that the Studio has 2 ports in the front and SD card.
Yep.
As you can hear now, if you're
We can't hear it, but we can see it.
a minimalist, this is a nice clean look. There is nothing to interrupt the look, right? But
Right. But it also means with them in the front, you're not scrambling to find them in the back, or having to turn your machine around, or having extra peripheral cables to be able to have those in the front, right?
and this does not have I don't think it has at all a
The
SD
reader.
card. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So right off, you can see that the back is quite different. This is a big grid that allows air to move through the computer. And of course, the lower one is the Studio,
Right.
and the top one is the Mini. Now, the Mini does not have fan. It is passively cooled, right? But this has a lot of cores, a lot of threads, and a lot of GPU cores, so it needs cooling. But let's compare the ports, right? So on the Mini, we have 2 USB A ports. We have an HDMI. We have 2 USB-C ports. We have a gigabit Ethernet, and we have the power and the switch, the on-off switch. And lastly, we have a speaker or an external external speaker port, like a
Headphones.
headphones or external speaker. On the Studio, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 2, so we have 6 USB 3 ports, right? We have again 2 USB-A, so they are the same USB-A, much more USB-C. We have a gigabit Ethernet as well, and there it is. We have the speaker or the headphone output, and of course we have the HDMI.
Right.
So clearly the Studio has much more ports,
Plus the SD card in front.
plus the SD card in front. So the Mini does not have an SD card, but we've made a video that will show you what is a great update to the Mini that has the same footprint and adds an external drive
Right. And you can put that card in this.
and has a lot of cards and adds the SD card and more ports.
But I mean, you can link that in this video for them to see. if
Right,
they
yeah,
want
I
to see
will.
that.
But these are the external differences, right? That's pretty much it. The Mini on the bottom says Mac Mini, and it has this rubberized foot, so it does not damage your surface. The Studio does not, it has this little rubber mat, but it's not all rubberized. And you see, this is again for heat exchange. A very, very interesting design, right?
Where's the speakers? Because it has speakers.
I have no idea. Both of them have speakers, but I have no idea where the speakers are.
Okay.
Weird, isn't it?
Neat, yeah.
Now, do you need both of them? No, we are thinking of expanding our YouTube production, right? And while this is very good, I've had zero problems with it as far as making videos. We were thinking this is the time to get another one that might, I mean, it's only a year difference, but it has much more threads, and this has a lot of GPUs.
And it's really made for makers, so it's got that.
In
the
fact, I
power
want to see
behind
how
it.
many GPUs it has.
So it's got the power behind it.
So we have 24 cores GPU and 10 core CPU M1, right? So this is a substantial machine for our purposes, for video, right?
Right.
So as you can see, that's quite a lot. It has very high resolution, 1920 1080, full high definition, which is true for the Mini as well.
Okay.
So that is very good. So having used this for over a year now, and this for a few weeks, which one should you buy? And my answer will be either. How about yours?
Either, and it depends on your need.
Definitely for cost, this is a very cost-effective machine, right?
Oh, yeah.
It is quite powerful. I am very, very pleased with it. And if you do not want to spend a lot of money, $700 is a reasonable amount for a modern computer with really good performance. Again, we expect this to blow this out of the water, but for the money, I don't think you can beat a Mini. Right?
Especially if you've already got all your peripherals, you got
Right.
everything else, then just getting a new computer that is a really pretty powerful machine in and of itself, the Mini is great.
And we should mention that neither the Mini or the Studio come with any peripherals.
Yeah, they don't.
You receive the computer and the power cord, that's it.
Right.
No keyboard, no mouse, no monitor. Speaking of keyboard, this is the new Apple keyboard.
Indeed it is.
And we're going to use it when we're testing both. And it has the fingerprint ID. And we just have a generic mouse. Nothing.
And it is, oh, by the way, it is USB charging. It's not a battery operated one.
Right.
So
It is
that's
battery operated. It's rechargeable.
Yeah, but it's not like not the double A's
Right.
of yesteryear.
And we are not big fans. I don't mind them. Elpida doesn't like it. Of the Magic Mice. So we bought a Logitech, just a generic little mouse that matches the overall theme of the computer. And I didn't notice it before, but there's a slight difference in the color of the metal. Don't know if it is visible on the studio is a little darker.
It's slightly visible, a little bit hard to tell.
But what's even funnier is that the Apple on the Mini is darker than the.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. So next we are going to we don't have it set up to run both at the same time. So we're going to unplug, shut down of course the studio and plug in the Mini and run the same Cinnabits tests.
Cinnabinch, not Cinnabits, not like cinnamon rolls or anything.
Okay.
Okay, so we're benchmarking the Mini.
All right. Awesome. So we finished our benchmarks for both machines, and it was a little surprising to me, right? The single core performance is very similar, which surprised me. The multi-core performance much better, right?
Yeah.
The real life performance, as we were doing things, we could see that the studio was better, and of course we were doing graphics things, and guess what? This has 8 cores of CPU and 8 cores of GPU. And this has 10 cores of CPU and 24 cores of GPU. And I think in working with it, other than the benchmark, that was clear. I mean, you could see the difference in screen refreshing and things like that. By no means, though, I would call this a slow machine.
Oh, no,
Like
not at all.
if you're trying YouTube now or you don't have the money, I mean, this is a very good option, right?
Or even if you just want to get something into Mac, like you've been curious about
Right.
Mac.
This is the cheapest way to get into Mac.
Yeah.
In fact, I would say that if we were not doing these tests next to each other, it would be hard to say that this was so much slower. I mean,
Right.
In real application, in real life, this doesn't feel like a slow machine to me.
And on a weekly basis, as you've been editing with this machine, you have
Yeah,
really been pleased with it.
And have it for months now. Like I do at least 5 or 6 edit videos per week. So very, very pleased. So we talked about the course. Nothing surprising. Anything that surprised you in the benchmarks?
No, not really.
Nothing really surprising for me. Now that we've seen the benchmarks and the performance using the machines, which one would you recommend?
Well, I love the studio. Because...
No, I know, but I mean in general, including price and everything.
Again, I think it just depends on what your price point is. I don't think there's one recommendation over another. What is your price point and what do you really need to do with your computer?
And they are really good machines both. I would have to say for this to become the machine that I use routinely for editing, I had to buy that extension pod.
Yeah, and have the external...
Because it doesn't have enough drive, it
Right.
doesn't have an SD card, you know, it's missing some
Right.
components.
Right.
In your case, you don't need that per se. The internal storage is 0.5 terabyte for you and 1/4 terabyte for me,
Right.
for the mini.
But to keep them clean and running fast, an external storage is going to be a good idea.
Right, and when you do that, please use an SSD, do not buy a hard drive.
Right.
Because you will see the difference, it will drive you insane, right?
Right.
Both can drive external monitors through the Thunderbolt ports. And remember, for a Mac, the USB-C ports are also Thunderbolt ports, so they can drive monitors, right?
Nice.
So if you wanted multiple monitors, which I think I'll be that one's down the road.
Yep, that's an expansion coming soon.
And speaking of monitors, really is not part of the comparison, but those Samsung monitors are about $130. They're
Yeah.
curved. They're really awesome monitors, right? I mean, we're very...
it's been a pretty nice computer. I'm trying to see. Oh, there you can see the curve in it.
It is
Yeah.
not Mac. I mean, the
No.
Mac display is over $1,000 these days. So
Yeah, so this was a nice compromise after spending the money on the actual Mac
Right.
itself.
and you can put 2 of those or 3 of those on the stands and make a very, very nice.
Stands or the arms. I have an arm that I want to put that on too. So
I thought you had 2 arms.
the computer arm,
Oh.
because I personally, and I know you hate saying that, but I don't like having the monitor on the desk because I hunch. And so having them on arms helps me raise them up and keep me raised up, and that helps me with my back and
Right.
posture.
But in any case, this is our short little video concerning the Mac Mini and the Mac Studio. They're only a year apart, but you can still buy this machine for $700. And you can buy this depending on, you didn't buy the highest end model. It goes up to 64 cores, I believe, right? And that is approaching $5,000, I think.
Yeah.
So even though that's an expensive machine,
There's still more expensive
you
ones.
didn't
yeah.
buy the most expensive of the expensive machines.
But there's also levels of your Mini as well, right?
Right, and I didn't buy the cheapest Mini either because I chose to have the most memory. Oh, that's what we forgot.
Right.
You have 64 gigabytes of memory, and I have 32 RAM memory.
Right. Okay.
So this has double, and it is hard to see in actual use. You can see that this is faster, and it's really hard to know is it the memory, is it faster drive, but it is definitely faster, right?
Right.
And as always, benchmarks don't give you the whole story. I think they're a good comparison point, but there is more to it than just
Of course.
the benchmark.
Of course.
They're both a joy to use, however. I really enjoy, and I really like this form factor.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's unintrusive. You can put your drink on top. She doesn't like that, but
I would not do that, but it's your computer. That one's yours. Go for it. No.
It's aluminium. Nothing happens to it.
It's not a coaster, though.
But it can be. You see, that's. All right, folks. This is our Wednesday show for today. We hope you enjoyed this episode. We definitely enjoy it. And while we're using Macs for our channel and everything, we both have other operating system machines, right?
Yes.
We both have Chromebooks, and we like them for what they are. And we both have Mac used for work, at least,
PCs.
Windows machines. So we are not fanboys and fangirls of Apple, but we have found Apple to work for us.
Well, and that's the thing. If you're very deeply entrenched into one system or the other, you don't necessarily know what the other ones can do. But we have found that Windows machines will do some things that Macs won't, and vice versa.
Right, and
So-
for our lifestyle,
Yeah.
the Macs seem to serve us better. So there is no entitlement here between. And on the Cinebench, of course, we saw that the Threadripper AMD killed your machine too. I mean,
Well,
number 4 is
as
not
you said,
killing,
that processor is more than the whole machine anyway,
Correct,
right?
yes.
So
But-
just the processor.
But when people say, "Oh, the Macs are the fastest," maybe not. Then again, the Threadripper had 64 cores. That
Right.
is compared there. In any case, if you enjoy this episode and you like more electronics kind of episodes, or computer kind of episodes, please give us a thumbs up. Elpida is the report whisperer. She's an expert on Excel and a lot of Office applications, right?
Yep.
So we use a lot, and maybe we'll make a couple of videos if the viewers want us to make some more technical videos. Otherwise, from Professor DIY and Elpida, have a great time.